What's happening, Dodgers Nation? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in.
Fire to get out, to escape, and now
what am I hearing? Something. What am I hearing?
And that's where the Red Cross came in.
Where's the Red Cross? Why did I hear Red Cross?
Pajamas.
Yeah, oh, I got it. All right, we're good. What's happening, Dodgers Nation? Big time win again. What is that? That is now 6-3 on this road trip. 6-3 on this road trip. I am Greg Bergman for Dodgers Nation. You can find me on Twitter at BergmanGreg. You can find me all over the place. This is the way. This is the post-game show that so far doesn't lose. I have not done a post-game show where the Dodgers have lost, and I want to keep it that way. 6-3. I get to come in on a Saturday. Look at that, a Saturday. You know why? Because I have no kids today. So it's a wonderful thing. I don't ever have kids, but it's, you know, all weekend is usually all about kids and children, and that's all I get. But I get to sit and watch the Dodger game today, and I get to talk to you guys, and it's just such a fun time because 6-3 on this road trip, and they're guaranteed a winning road trip. They take the first 3 in Atlanta. When was the last time the Dodgers even won 3 in Atlanta? I can't remember the last time this happened, but hey. It's happy days all around here. I got you on Instagram at official Dodgers Nation on Instagram. Got it on Facebook right now at Dodgers Nation on there. You can get me on Periscope right now. You can get me on Twitch right now. I think that's official. I think that's Dodgers Nation TV on Twitch. You got me everywhere. You want to talk to me? You want to look at me? You want to talk to me? This is the place to do it. Go to #DN postgame if you want to see if you want to talk about it on or on Twitter as well. I get Facebook and Twitter mixed up all the time, but this is how I want to start. Before I get into how I want to start, I want to talk to you guys about where you guys are from. Look at that. Good luck, Greg, Kevin, Perez, Allen. That's right, because since I came into Dodgers Nation, the Dodgers have not lost on a post-game day, and that's the way it's going to stay, and I don't want to do these sad games where they lose. This is a happy place. This is a place of winning. So tell me where you're at today. I've been getting people from all over. A lot of Texas. I had from Chicago. One guy was from Australia the other day. There's a whole bunch of things. And look at this. I waited. I bought 3 shirts from the official Dodgers Nation store, and this was one of them, the Wild Horse 66. I bought this for one reason and one reason only, because I knew that he was going to be coming back and he's going to be so good. And look what he did tonight. So let's go right into it. Upland, California, what's happening? Down in California in the 562. Welcome. Madera, California. Sin City in the house. That's right, Nanny Ducks Hernandez. Sin City, love it. Fresno, California here on Instagram. Pennsylvania. Look, we are nationwide here. Fairfield, California. Moreno Valley, California. Orange County, California. OKC. Look at it. I love getting some places from out of state. Keep them coming from out of state. We're in Vegas 702. Puro Dodgers, just saying. I'm with you, Tina. La Habra, California. Welcome, Cano family. Hello to you, Nana Vida. King City, Oregon. Oh, look at you coming in from Oregon, too. Tell me where you're at, but I want to get right into this. Kevin Perez Allen, look, man, I know you got your Blue Heaven podcast, and you guys are so funny, but I don't know what you're trying to come at me all crazy with watching from hell. You're not watching from hell. You're just constantly in hell, but that's mostly because of FRG, if you want me to be honest. All right, let's go into the game itself. So if you can just toss up what we're going to talk about today. I want to talk about Alex Wood to start off first, because let me tell you something about Alex Wood, all right? He came into this game pitching on fire over this last 4 or 5 starts. It looked really, really good, but it's really just not fair. Not fair what he had to deal with coming in. I was looking at the lineup and I thought to myself, how is he going to win this game? You know how he's going to win this game? By pitching 5 2/3 and only giving up 1 hit. That's how he's going to do it. But think about this. The starting lineup. You had Chris Taylor, who I love having Chris Taylor at the top of the lineup. He should always be that leadoff guy. But this is how this Dodger teams work. You're going to have Chris Taylor leading off against the lefty, and you're going to have Jock Peterson leading off against the righty. And then Machado, who is just the best thing to ever happen to the Dodgers. I love Manny Machado so very much. And Matt Kemp, who has been a little bit struggling recently, but he hasn't had a hit since Monday. But if you can see, he's actually getting contact on the ball. He's only struck out twice, 2 times in his last 12 or 13 at-bats. He hasn't got a hit since Monday, but he
does not strike out, and that's what's important about him. But then after that, he goes Kike Hernandez in the cleanup spot. Not where I like seeing him. I like seeing him lower in the game. I like seeing him around 8th, but he's, for some reason, Kike comes up and he gets these big hits late in games. So that's why he's there, and I get it, and I understand it. But then Cody Bellinger can't hit a ball to save his life. He's swinging at bad pitches. He's swinging at pitches high. He's swinging at pitches low. The ones that are right down the middle, he just watches them go right by. And I don't understand it. This guy is just not catching on to what he needs to be doing. It needs to be hitting this ball. He needs to sit down. Max Muncy sat down today. Sit him down for a little bit. Let's see if he can kind of work through some of the issues. But then Logan, 0 for Forsythe, this guy, I'm telling you, he's terrible. And I got to stop real fast. Australia. That's awesome that you're calling from Australia. That's amazing. And that's you, Al Trejo. Awesome. But like you have an Austin Barnes not hitting the ball well. All these guys are not doing. It's that bottom of that lineup, that 5, 6, 7, 8, was just brutal, except for Yasiel Puig. Puig comes in. That's the next thing to come up on this side here. Hello, Puig. Welcome back. Welcome to a couple RBIs and welcome to a blast. Did you see that blast from Puig? It looked like he had no effort behind it whatsoever. It was just like the easiest, nicest swing, and he's just like, all right, that one's gone. See ya. That's what you want to see from him. If you're starting to get, I want to see him come back up in that lineup and really show. He's just so tantalizing with his talent, that with that power that he has behind it and the defensive abilities that he has, he just has to put it all together and really, really, focus, because it just doesn't seem like there's that much focus with him. If you look at his splits for right now, defensively, we all think of him as this great defensive player. It's crazy because this year he has a negative defensive WAR. He has 6 assists, outfield assists, to 5 errors. 5 errors is not very good. He has a 958 fielding percentage, and that's just not acceptable for a guy like Puig. I know overall, for the most part in his career, he's been great defensively, but this year he has not. He's gone on and off of the DL, and he's under control for 1 more year with that arbitration eligibility next year. It's just interesting. If he can put it all together, he's got some time. He's gonna probably play again tomorrow, and if he can just keep it going, he won't get traded. I don't see him getting traded, so let's kind of hopefully stay away from that question. But I think he's somebody that could possibly be one of those guys that move, but I don't want to see it because I'm a Wild Horse fan. All right, let's move on down to the next one on here. We got Muncy's day off. This was a guy that needed it so bad. He started off great after the All-Star break. He went 6 for 15 after the All-Star break. He had a couple doubles. He had a couple RBIs. He was hitting the ball. He was being a little more patient at the plate. He could walk here and there. But since then, since the same time that Matt Kemp hasn't gotten a hit, so we're starting on Tuesday, the 24th, Max Muncy is 1 for 19. 1 for 19 with a home run. And that is not, and usually what we expect from Muncy is it's like death, taxes, Max Muncy getting walked, right? Not today, not this week. He has been death, taxes, strikeout for Max Muncy, and that's not the kind of Muncy that we're looking for. He is a guy that you expect to be very, very patient at the plate and look for his pitch. But he had 8 strikeouts to 2 walks this week. That's now so having that day off, hopefully figured out. He did get hit at the end of the game there, but you hope that that's not going to do anything. It didn't look like it was that bad. Kind of in the back, soft spot in the back. He'll be fine. All right, moving on. The real needs for this team. We're going to get into these questions, and they're going to be things about who should we trade? Should we trade for this guy? What should we go after over here? What should we do with this guy? Should we go for second base? Should we get a middle of the relief? Should we get a starter? What do we get? That's going to be a lot of the questions. The real needs for this Dodger team, there are no real needs. There is no real needs. They are solid top to bottom, the positionality up and down the lineup, offensively, defensively, pitching, all of it. It's all been great. So I don't think you need something, but you can always use extra bullpen help, and that's something that's going to probably happen because that's the way that this front office works, and it happens out of nowhere too. All of a sudden, the front office is going to come up and they're just going to say, "Oh, we traded for somebody that you've never heard of, or somebody that you're like, oh, I didn't even think about that guy," because that's how the front office works. They like to be under the radar with it, and they're going to get a guy who's going to come cheap, so they can stay under that 197 cap. They're going to get a guy that fits the splits that they want. Lefty-righty matchup, whatever they want. It's always going to be a specific guy that they're looking for. So don't expect some giant name. Zach Britton moving already was a good thing for the Dodgers. He was $12 million, and he was probably going to be a little bit going to cost too much, especially in the minor league system. So there's a lot about that. All right, I've talked enough about the game. If you want more questions about this specific game, throw them up there. I got questions here on Instagram. I got questions here on Facebook. I even got this. What's this called? Periscope Live going over here. I got YouTube looking on here. If you got YouTube going, you can find me on YouTube too. I'm trying to back around from everywhere to get a little bit of everything. It's tough to kind of find that. So if you got questions, let's turn that off because you don't need to hear me twice. I don't need to hear me twice. My girlfriend doesn't need to hear me twice. My kids don't need to hear me twice. So let's just do it the one time. All right, let's start it up with the questions. I'm going to start over on Facebook because that's obviously my favorite place to go. You guys are the best on Facebook. Keep it up. And I'm going to just say hello to a couple of people. If you got questions, throw them up right now. I'm ready to answer every single one of them. Hi from Reynosa, Mexico. What's up, Luis in Reynosa? Tucson, Arizona. Look, you got Mexico, Arizona right next to each other. Austin, Texas from Jesus Sandoval. This is everywhere. That we are nationwide. So good. All right, let's go over here. I got, do you think Bryce Harper goes to the Dodgers? Andrew Thompson. You know what? I got killed on Twitter this week. I did it yesterday. There was a Michael J. Duarte who, better or for worse, is sometimes right, sometimes wrong. It always changes. But that's how these guys kind of work. They're not always right. I mean, you're looking back at Michael J. Duarte from the Braun Kemp deal. Everybody thought the Braun Kemp deal was finalized. It wasn't, and then he looked bad because it didn't end up going through. That's fine. So, instead, Bryce Harper to the Dodgers, I'm kind of in on it. I think it depends on what you're going to give up for him. You're going to have to give up somebody. You're going to have to give up probably a big name, a controllable name. I would assume it'd be a guy like Alex Verdugo, who's looked so good in the majors once he's come back. But I think you have to give up. I mean, they're not going to just go after Yadier Alvarez. Here's the thing, though. Bryce Harper is not as good as Manny Machado. He is not anywhere near as good as Manny Machado. I know they're in separate places. The Orioles were a middling nothing team that had like 25 wins when they traded Machado to the Dodgers. The Nationals are kind of right in it. They were tied in the top of the ninth the last time I saw because a guy that the Dodgers want, Kyle Bearclaw, blew the save in Miami. But I'm in on it. It depends on what you have to give up. If you're giving up more than you gave up for Machado, I'm out. I say no. I don't want to give up too many big prospects for Bryce Harper. I think that he doesn't want to be in Washington. I think that he wants to be somewhere bigger, like LA or New York or Chicago. There's been a lot of talk about him going to Chicago, but I think he wants to be somewhere like here in LA. And if you put him in a position to be in a park where he's going to hit the ball, I think he could do really, really well here on the Dodgers. I think you're going to have to give up too much because they value him as a person too much, and they're going to end up, the Washington Nationals are going to end up losing him for nothing, for absolutely nothing, and that's going to be on them. So I wouldn't trade too much for him, and that they're probably going to ask for too much. So no to Harper unless the price is right. All right, let's try going over here to Facebook. Why do the Dodgers keep sending Alex Verdugo down every time he's up, he produces? Well, you got to think about it. Yasiel Puig is coming back, and he's not going down. Alex Verdugo has options. He's going to be going up and down, left and right. It's going to happen. He's going to come up in September, and he's going to stay up in September. You don't need... Look, Verdugo's been great. Toles was also fun to watch, but these guys are not your everyday starters. Verdugo's been really good, and he'll be good again when he comes up in September. There's a lot of injuries. There's a lot of things that are happening in this outfield. It's just jam-packed in the outfield. Basically, you need to have Yasiel Puig in right field every single game. You need to have Matt Kemp in left field every single game, with a day off every once in a while for Kike Hernandez or somebody else. But for the most part, the one that switches is your center fielder. And it's going to be Kike sometimes. It's going to be Cody Bellinger sometimes. It's going to be Chris Taylor sometimes. There's just not enough room for Alex Verdugo to play every single day. I would love to see him play every day, but there's not enough room for him. That's what's great about this Dodgers team. They are up from the top of the lineup to the bottom of the lineup. It's good. Everyone can play multiple positions. It's really about losing Logan Forsythe at some point, and that's a whole nother subject for another time. We'll try it again. Let's see, what's good? Hello, yes, hello, What's up? 911 Gucci, yes, I'm assuming you're agreeing with me. I love that. How much is your salary? Guess what, GS? I ain't answering that because the Dodgers Nation, they pay me in time. So my regular job on ESPN, we don't talk about that. This is just for you guys. I am trying to get this sponsored, though. If you work for a company, hashtag, Dodgers Nation, I'm trying to talk to a bunch of people to get this sponsored. If you know people that want to be a part of this, because think about this. Before I move on to more questions, let me start with this. This is a post-game show that's going to be on 2, 3, 4 times a week. It just depends on the week. That you're not getting anywhere else if you want post-game Dodgers talk. If you want post-game Dodgers talk, for the most part, there's only one other place to go, right? That one place to go is on the radio. And where are you going to be able to talk directly to somebody on the radio? Are you going to be able to have them answer your question and say, "What's up, bro?" to Rudy G? That's not going to happen on the radio. That's only going to happen right here on the 5 or 6 different platforms that Dodgers Nation is getting me. So tell your friends, this is where the place to be is for Dodgers postgame. All right, now let's start getting in. And Angel Baby Joe, you're sponsored by the Dodgers? No, I am not sponsored by the Dodgers. I want to be sponsored by the Dodgers, but they're not going to sponsor me. Rudy G, what's up, bro? I play catcher. You know what? Good for you. The Dodgers have about 7 catchers. So they have 4 guys just in the minor league system alone that are ready to be coming up sooner rather than later. Well, at least 2 of them. Keibert Ruiz and Will Smith are both destroying the ball at AA right now. And Keibert Ruiz was somebody that actually destroyed the ball in spring training earlier this year. So I'm glad you play catcher, and we could use another catcher behind Yasmani Grandal, even though Grandal has been fantastic this month. Best month of his career by far. So there's too many guys here. Too many. All right, let's move over into Facebook. What other trades do you see the Dodgers making before the trade deadline? Stephen Mamet. All right, let me tell you, Stephen. I really don't see them making too many. I don't expect that big giant name from anybody. Like, you're not going to expect a name like Jacob deGrom. I just wouldn't expect it. I would expect names on the smaller ends of guys that you probably haven't heard of. Maybe you might get somebody from Miami like a Kyle Barraclough, or you might get a name like Brad Ziegler, which I'm not really too high on. Drew Steckenrider, Adam Conley, all those guys from Miami that are pitching really, really well. There's also guys really well too, and in Tampa Bay. So you could see a Tampa Bay move that's not Chris Archer. I am not in on Chris Archer. I'm going to answer that once I get to somebody that's asking about Archer, but let's go a little bit more here. Steve Duran, I noticed you didn't mention Jock Peterson in the outfield mix. What about him? I did. If you missed it, I'm sorry. I meant to say in center field against right-handed starters, you're going to see Jock Peterson in the leadoff spot, and then Chris Taylor leading off against lefties. That's just like it was tonight. It's Jock Peterson is your center fielder. If it's not Cody Bellinger or Chris Taylor or Kike Hernandez, Jock is going to be there because his swing has just been so very sweet recently. The contact has been great. He's not striking out. He's fixed his swing to be a guy that you like in the leadoff position who has a good on-base percentage. Plus, he makes contact and the ball falls. Yes, he's going to hit a home run every once in a while, but he's going to hit the double more than a home run or a single just to get a guy on base. That's what you want from your leadoff guy, and that's what Jock Peterson and both Chris Taylor are doing. Chris Taylor tonight, he saw over 20 pitches tonight. I think it was over 25 pitches too. So that's a guy who's his on-base percentage has jumped up considerably as the year has gone on. I love Chris Taylor, huge Chris Taylor fan. So I just want to keep seeing him there. Anthony Sarabia, what's your thoughts on picking up a pitcher, not position player? No need for Bryce. I'm agreeing with you. We're going to move away from Bryce Harper. I know I got into it. It was more of just like, entertaining the premise of possibly bringing Bryce in, but I'm with you. All right, picking up a pitcher. Tell me where. This is what I like to talk about with people because I really don't get it. Looks like I got a top chat over here. Sorry, before I get to that. Krish Patel on YouTube says Marlins won 2-1 in the 10th. Hey, that's a good win because that means the Washington loses, and they're getting ready to sell more, and they have a lot of good bullpen arms that I would love to see. Kelvin Herrera, I would love to see him in Dodger blue. Just saying. All right, so let's move on over to. All right, we were talking about a pitcher. Okay, you have 7 pitchers right now, right? 7 starting pitchers. You have Julio Urias coming back from his injury, probably in August, and they're building him up as a reliever. He will be a reliever when he comes back. Hopefully he's look at Caleb Ferguson tonight. I loved seeing Caleb Ferguson tonight. He was great. You could see him up there for 2 innings. He's a starter of the future, but right now he is a 1-2 inning guy that's going to be great for us down the stretch. So I don't think you really need that much. And think about it. You have 7 starters, right? 7 starters. You can only keep 3 or 4. We talk about this all the time in these post games. You only keep 3 or 4 during the playoffs. The other 3 are going to go to the bullpen. It's all about who's pitching the best at the best time. So when you have Caleb Ferguson pitching great, if you have Scott Alexander, who has been fantastic, he has 11 ground double play outs this year, leading the team. The next highest is Alex Wood with 10, and that is with like almost 300 more plate appearances. It's crazy. This is what the Dodgers brought Scott Alexander over for, is for his ground ball outs, and he's doing that with the strikeouts at the same time. So I'm not worried about a pitcher. That's just it. Keith Dombrowski, no Archer, DeGrom, or bust. So you want, okay, no Archer, DeGrom, or bust. I see what you're saying. You got to put some commas in there because I don't understand without that. I agree with you. I don't want Chris Archer. And here, I'm going to tell you why. People are talking about Chris Archer like he was 3-4 years ago when he looked good. He was number 1, or he was like number 3 or 4 in the Cy Young voting for Tampa Bay. He looked really good. And you're like, oh, wow, this is a great young pitcher. He has looked terrible since then. I'm talking +4 ERAs, +4 FIPS for the last 4 years. Yes, he had 13 strikeouts the other night or a week ago, but that was the first time in double-digit strikeouts for him. There's nothing about Chris Archer that I'm really all that excited about. He has that tantalizing stuff that you think can be great, and maybe a change of scenery would help, but who on this Dodgers pitching staff do you want to see Chris Archer over? I don't want to see him over Maeda. I don't want to see him over Stripling. I don't want to see him over Wood. I don't want to see him over Hill. I don't want to see him over Kershaw. Who do you want to see him over? So this whole talk, the name Chris Archer sounds so great, but it's not a guy that we want to have on this team. It's just not okay. Let's move away from him. Go back over to Instagram, see if we can get another question. Just a big, I'm staying there. Do you think Scott Alexander will last in the playoffs? I do think Scott Alexander will last in the playoffs. He's a guy that throws a pitch, his splitter that is going to be, it's ground ball outs all the time. He's not getting hit. He's finding strike zones. I think he's a veteran player now. I like what he's going to bring, and he's going to be perfect for situational hitters. If you want him to be the situational lefty, then he's a situational lefty. If you want him to go for a whole inning, great. You can even let him go. If you watch his outings right now, he's getting out of the innings in like 8-9 pitches. He's being he's not throwing very many pitches, and he's pitching very well. So I'm not scared of what's going to happen to him down the stretch. It's just 27 outs in the playoffs, and I think that he's a guy that can help get those 27 outs. Angel Baby Josie, what are your opinions on Manny Machado moving to the Dodgers? Well, he's already here. I can't get into stuff for next year. He doesn't want to get into stuff next year. But look what he's done so far. I feel like he's on base 2, 3, 4 times every single game, don't you? I mean, look, the guy has been incredible. He had that one game that I think he wishes he had back when they went 16 innings and he went 0 for 7 or 0 for 6, something along those lines. But besides that, he's on base every time. He walks. He gets hits. I think he has like a 430 on base percentage with the Dodgers right now. I love what he's doing. And look what he's doing at third base. He's obviously a third base Gold Glover for a reason. Look what he's doing. It's been so great. So, I mean, he has amazing plays, picks off the back. Like, there's so many good things that he's doing. I have everything that I wanted to see from Manny Machado except for the bombs. He's got one. Except for the bombs, that's all I want from him. He has been fantastic. No problem with Manny Machado whatsoever. I love him, and I would love him back in Dodger blue tomorrow because he's a typical Dodger, the guy that you want to see here all the time. Let's come back over here to Dodger Nation. I'm going to go to YouTube real fast because I got one here. Krish Patel. Don't forget about Dylan Floro. He's been great. He came in 2 games in a row in an 8th inning role, and he was fantastic out of it. He got hit up a little bit, but he's going to be just fine. I like him. He's a little bit younger, just kind of taking off the scrap heap. I think he's a guy that's going to stick around, but he may not make the postseason roster because there's just too many guys. I'm sorry. It's just kind of how it is, and that's just how it is. I'm sorry to say it. Let's go back over to Facebook now. Rafael Santiago. Did anyone hear about Chip Carey, Atlanta announcer, ripping on Dodgers players and their attire during pregame batting practice today? I uploaded it to YouTube, but it was blocked by MLB. All right. It wasn't Chip Carey. It was Thompson, Joe Thompson, I believe. And yeah, that was just ridiculous. There was no reason for him to do that. They changed up their names and they changed up their bat. Like, oh, you don't know who's batting and during batting practice. At this point, you should kind of know. I'm sorry, you should know who you're looking at this point of the year. I mean, if you're in Atlanta, whatever, like, fine, who cares? It's batting practice. Once it gets to the actual game, it gets the actual game. And Manny Machado, if you don't know what Manny Machado looks like by now, then you don't like baseball. I'm sorry, I don't know how else to say it. Matt Kemp is a pretty obvious guy to look at. He's a big dude. Like, Yasiel Puig is a big guy, and you know what he looks like. Cody Bellinger's tall and thin and skinny. Like, all these guys, if you look at him, you're like, oh, that's probably Max Muncy. He's a little short, fat guy that has power. We know who he is. So, yes, I think it was Joe Thompson and whoever, but I don't really care about the Atlanta broadcasters because they're Atlanta broadcasters. They've been pitching great. They've been playing really well. They have good pitchers. Their offense is actually pretty stacked. Dodgers just held them down. 1 earned run, by the way. 1 earned run from the starters in the first 3 games against a team in the Atlanta Braves that are averaging 5 runs a game. So I love what I've been seeing from them. Let's go back over to Facebook. I bleed Dodger Blue. Go Dodgers from 803 SC, South Carolina. David Prince Sr., welcome. That's great. I love seeing people from out of state. All right, Millie Rod, do you think the Dodgers will re-sign Machado? We're getting so far ahead with Machado. I hope so. I don't think so. I hope so. I mean, is that the best answer I can give you? Probably. I hope so. I mean, it just depends. They got to stay below that 197. Depends on what happens with Kershaw. They have money to spend next year. It's possible. If he loves it here, which I really hope he does, then we can start figuring out first base, second base, third base, shortstop. That'll all come together. Hello, just a big girl NBA. Who's the Dodgers' biggest rivalry this year? Renee Fernandez, 8352. Biggest rivalry this year, probably the Diamondbacks at the moment. They were really good against the Dodgers early in the year, and they're right behind the Dodgers now. I think the last I saw it, if someone's got this for me, please help me out. I know you, Trish Patel, are on there. Krish Patel, you were on here before. Tell me what's going on with Arizona and San Diego. It was tied 4-4 the last I saw it, so if someone's got it, I'll shout it out for you here. Ryan Adam, if the Dodgers trade for a starter, do you think Ross Stripling will be moved back to the bullpen? Look, let me tell you, this is a question that we get a lot. He's not going anywhere right now. I think that in his last outing, he gave up that home run because he went to that changeup, or it was the curveball for him. It was the changeup for Maeda. He went to that curveball one too many times against Rhys Hoskins, and it was just a blast. I'm sorry. He went curveball, fastball, curveball, fastball, curveball, and he was just sitting on it waiting for it, and tied the game up. I don't think anybody moves to the bullpen unless they're not pitching well, Ryan. I'm sorry. That's just kind of how it is. You have so many guys, and you're going to have a 6-man rotation for a while. Hyun-Jin Ryu probably won't be back until the end of August, somewhere around there. He's going to have 4 rehab starts before he gets here. Plus, he pitched today. I didn't look into it, but I know he pitched a simulated game, at least 2 innings today, and it didn't. I don't know what happened with it, but if anybody's got that, please shout it out. Krish, thank you. 4-4, bottom 7. All right, so Arizona, as of right now, they're 2 games back. If Arizona loses to San Diego, which I'm hoping for, then that's going to be that'll be 2.5 games, and it's just starting. They're going to start moving forward, and they're going to pass everybody. It's going to be a big-time win in this division. All right, do you think, look, I already answered this, Leonard. No, I don't think Bryce Harper is coming to the Dodgers because I think it's going to cost too much, and they're not going to do it. He would love to be here, but I think Washington thinks too highly of him, even though he's not that great, bad defensively, low. He hits right into the shift consistently. I think there's just not enough there that's good for the Dodgers. His on-base percentage is great. His slugging percentage is great. He's had a pretty decent July, but I just don't think that's the move that they're going to make. They're going to have to give up too much for him, so no. I saw another question on here that I thought I was going to like. All right, we'll come back to it. Let's come back over here to Facebook. If you got some more, I am on YouTube right now as well. You can hit me up on YouTube. I think I'm on Twitch too, but I deleted that. I don't know why I deleted it, but if you got Twitch on there, go to Twitch too. Rafael Santiago, Greg, I asked you this question last week, but you didn't get to it. I'm sorry I didn't get to it. Sometimes they're just flying by, and I answer as best as I can. Let's see. If by the way, Raphael, I don't know if you do or not, but follow me on Twitter. If you ask me a question on Twitter, I'm happy to answer any question that you could possibly have. So go to @BergmanGreg. That's @BergmanGreg, and I'm happy to answer as many questions. I always do. So I don't think I'm better than anybody. I think I'm actually worse than most of you. So I'll answer. All right. If you were a Dodger player, what would be your walk-up song to the plate? Man, you know, you get these all the time, and it's just I stick to it. I can't. I'm not really sure. I'm a big fan of 311. So I would probably end up going with the 311 song. One and the Same is just a banger. So you know what? I'd probably go with One and the Same from the new album Mosaic. That was a good song. So let's go with that. I think that's a good, fun song to go with. That just comes to the top of my mind. If that's not what you like, sorry, that's what I like. I love 311, and I go to concerts almost once a year. All right, let's go back over to Instagram. Remember, @OfficialDodgersNation on Instagram. Hello, Jamo Demanning. What's happening? Thumbs up to you, Leonard. Thank you. Remember, keep hitting that like button. Let them know. Let people know. All right, Julian Oriola. Do you think? I like how you put the emoji in there. You gotta have the. See, let me get the full thing here. Hold on. Do I think something is wrong with Puig after his last at bat, or that's Puig just being Puig? It's a great question, Julian. No, I think he's just fine. I think that's just Puig being Puig. If he is injured, that would be really, really sad. I would be a little upset about that because he's a guy that just came back. He gets hurt a lot. It's too bad. I think he's going to be just fine. Maybe you might not see him in the lineup tomorrow because he's just coming back, but I think he's fine. I know I think he's just fine. He will be fine. Not too worried about it. Renee Fernando on Instagram. Do you consider Mike Piazza a Dodger? Ooh, Renee. That is a loaded question. I'm sorry. Oh God, I get killed for this all the time because people love Mike Piazza. He did so much for the Dodger brand. You know, the connection with Tommy Lasorda, what he did for the Dodgers. You know, hitting 0 home runs in the home run derby twice. He went into the Hall of Fame as a Met, which maybe is rightfully so because he had some great years there, and he went to the World Series with him. God, it really, really hurt me when he didn't take that over $100 million contract to stay with the Dodgers. I know he was worth more. I know there was some other issues that went along with it, but when he didn't get that $100 million contract and he said no, God, it killed me inside. I would never put his number up at Dodger Stadium. I don't ever want to see the number 31 retired at Dodger Stadium. I want someone else to wear the number 31. I think he is a Dodger. I hate saying it, but I do consider him a Dodger. But no, I don't think he is. Oh, you're asking, sorry, I misread it. Does Piazza consider himself a Dodger? No, I don't think so. I think Piazza thinks he's a Met through and through, and that's it. He doesn't want anything to do with the Dodgers. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I could be way wrong. I'm sure somebody on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram is going to tell me how crazy I am. That, oh, well, he was at this and he was at that. Sorry. I'm going off the top of my head here. I don't have anything in front of me. But no, I don't think he does. And that's what I would say. Vince Scully can't win you games. No, he's not around anymore. But I love Vince Scully, so don't ever say anything bad about Vince Scully, or I'll ban you from this chat. No, I won't. I love you. Keep coming back. All right, let's see. Over here, do you think? Oh, I already did that one. Bring in any decent starting pitcher. Honeycutt will make them great. Agree. Look, Honeycutt has been around forever. That's Mike Luzania. Honeycutt has been fantastic. I have a great story about Honeycutt, by the way. So, yes, to answer your question first, yes, anytime you bring in somebody, Honey has this way of working with them where they become really good pitchers, but he didn't work with you, Darvish, because I don't think Darvish could figure it out. I don't know. He tips every single pitch, and I hate that. He's just a killer to me. But the story about Rick Honeycutt. So back in 2008, probably somewhere around there, I was working at Fox Sports Radio for the Ben Maller Show, and I was the producer of the Ben Maller Show, and he got me onto the field for the media game at Dodger Stadium, and that was awesome. Rick Honeycutt was pitching against my team,
and I was up to the plate. The first at bat, I popped up. It was terrible. I popped it up. I was very embarrassed. It was popped up on the first base side, caught, done, out, fine. Second time I came up, Rick Honeycutt was again the pitcher. He hit me in the leg. This dude hit me in the leg. I had a bruise, and he just looked at me like, okay, hey, sorry, I got a little freeze here. I don't know if you can see if I'm frozen on there for some reason, but I don't think so. So I got hit in the leg, and I had to go back to come back up, and he let me hit again. I was like, I just got hit in the leg. Don't I get first base? And he said, no, you got to keep going. So I went back up, and I swung and missed the next pitch. So in my one appearance in the media game, 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a pop out. It was not my best appearance at Dodger Stadium, but it was fun. It was cool to be on the field at Dodger Stadium. I got to play shortstop a little bit. I made a great pickup and throw to first base, and that was nice. Felt like a young Chris Taylor at that time, or Corey Seager. But that was my Rick Honeycutt story. It was fun though. I enjoyed that. Rafael Santiago, D-backs 4, Padres 4, top of the 8th. Ooh, runner on first. All right, let's go Padres. Okay, let's keep moving on. I love Mike Piazza. I named my cat Mikey after him. He was my best boy for 18 years, but I was so hurt when he had bad mouth Finney. That's what. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. You know what? You did say that, and I apologize. I was thinking something else. But yes, you're right. When he bad mouth Finney, that was killer, Jill. I know he's your boy, and I loved him too. When he left, it really, really hurt. After he badmouthed Vin, I would say no, and that was my favorite player growing up. See, exactly. See, I'm not the only one. That makes me feel better inside, knowing that that's a problem. Let me know on Facebook. I'm frozen on Facebook, but if you can see me on Facebook, let me know. Please, tell me. Tell me if you can see me on Facebook, and I'm moving around because it looks like it's frozen, and I don't really know how to fix that. But anyway, I see it moving on YouTube, so it looks like everything else is working. It might just be Facebook's problem. So if you're on Facebook, please tell me what I'm missing. All right, let's go up to YouTube because you guys are here, and I love talking to you. What should the Dodgers do with Logan Forsythe? They should ship him out as fast as humanly possible. Logan Forsythe is killer. He went 0 for 4 tonight with 3 strikeouts. The guy just can't buy anything. Even when he does get a hit, it just seems like, that's not going to do it. He makes a great defensive play early in the game, and you think, okay, confidence, get up to the plate. He just doesn't see the strike zone now. He's swinging at pitches high. He's swinging at pitches low. He's like Cody Bellinger. It's crazy to me. I don't know what I'm missing. I don't know why. Like, I don't want to see him more than one time a week, and really when he's in, it's just, there's an automatic out. That's a terrible place to be, is to be automatic out. Desmond Chiari, this is a great question about Logan Forsythe. Why doesn't the team DFA Logie Bear? He is dead weight. This is the problem. He is paid, he's on a final year of a $9 million contract. At this point, he's probably getting hit around, he's probably going to be about, okay, the video has ended. Sorry. You know what? Let me try and get this right back up on, where did that go? Did you stop something? No? Okay. I lost it on Facebook. I'm just gonna leave Facebook off. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to end this shortly because this ended on Facebook, and that's where most of the people are. So if you're on, tell people on Twitter, on everywhere else to come to YouTube, come to Instagram Live. I'll do this for another few minutes here. But yeah, you can't designate for free agency Logie Bear because he is a guy that $9 million, probably somewhere around $3 million at this time of year, but he's a movable asset in somewhere that you can. He's going to go somewhere that needs just somebody that's dead weight. I'm sorry. He can go back to Tampa Bay. He can go to Miami. He can go somewhere else and have a change of scenery and be back to hopefully who he was. But he's just just a soft hitting second baseman. That's fine. But he's worth money. Let's see what happens after the trade deadline. Because if you can't move him before the trade deadline, then you gotta just part ways with him. I mean, I know there's the waiver trade deadline, but most likely he's not going to move in that. I would assume he's not going to move in that. And if you designate him for free agency, you're getting basically nothing for him and you're wasting it. So see if you can move him before then. That will probably happen at some point, though, if nobody takes him, which I don't know why anybody would. That's just how it is. All right, what are your thoughts on Baez? Why would you do that to me, Tito, 54? I am not a Baez fan. But right now, look, you put him in games where he has low leverage situations. Last night, when he came into a 6-2 game, it was a 6-2 game, or it was a 6-0. So I don't remember the exact score, but He came into a low leverage situation game where, fine, let him get through those innings, let him get his confidence back up. He's not going to be on the roster in September or in October. I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. I assume it's not going to happen. So I wouldn't. Don't worry about Baez. I'm not a big fan of Baez. I don't think many people are big fans of Baez. It scares the hell out of me. But I would say that he won't be around. So just let him come in low leverage situations. When you're losing big, which I hope never happens, but if you're losing big, yeah, let him come in. But don't put him in the high leverage situations. That's all I'm saying. We need a better first baseman. All right, Jay Gav. Here's the thing. Cody Bellinger is an all-star first baseman defensively. He is a Gold Glove caliber first baseman defensively. Offensively is a whole other story. And then Max Muncy is just going to be a guy that you're hoping is going to get his offense is going to overtake his defense, because there's really not a great spot for Max Muncy. He's not that great defensively, but he's best as a first baseman. It's just nice having Bellinger at first base. He just needs to sit for a little bit because he cannot hit the ball to save his life, and it's been tough to watch. So let's come back over here. Let's see, let's come back over here. We're just going to stick to Instagram right now. If you're on Facebook or if you're on YouTube, I'm still looking at the questions. They're right in front of me, so keep coming up with those chats. Let's see. What do you think about Chase Utley's slide? Are you talking about the one recently or the one against the Mets? Because I think he's I think he's a man's man. I think he's a dude that knows how to slide. He knows when the right slide is. If he wants to go outside, he wants to go outside a little bit. I saw nothing wrong with the slide. I think he's just kind of that old man that does everything the way that you want him to do. So let's keep going with that. The only prominent Baez in the game is Javier. Well, I agree with you. Javier Baez has been fantastic for the Cubs, and I'm actually a little bit worried about the Cubs this year. And first the Mets, yeah. I had no problem with it. That was the fact that you had to make a whole rule out of that was just bananas to me. And I don't know if Rene Fernandez, you are a Mets fan or what it is, but there was no problem with that slide. But I'll tell you this: if I was a Mets fan and not a Dodgers fan, I would have hated that slide. But he's a Dodger, and I love him. The Silver Fox, man, of course, I'm all for everything that he did. How big is the gap at second? Who is next up? There are a lot of guys, and the gap at second you would think would be bad, but it's really not, because you can move guys there as much as you need. And you have a guy in Gavin Lux who's I know he's in single A right now, but he has been hitting the ball really well, and he's been really good. I think you can still make that trade for Scooter Gennett possibly, but I don't think there's really the need for it. Die Hard Dog, good. I don't think the gap at second base is that bad. Defensively, Logan Forsythe is actually a really good defensive second baseman. So it's really, if you're talking about offensively, Max Muncy is going to be there sometimes. Chris Taylor is going to be there sometimes. Logan Forsythe. The positionality makes people be able to go there as much as possible. And especially, think about it this way: when when Justin Turner comes back, he's going to go back to third. Manny's going to go back to short. Chris Taylor is going to be a second baseman. He can be a second baseman. He can be an outfielder. This is what you got. You got guys that can move all over the place. I'm not worried. Max Muncy's going to be there sometimes. Fine. I don't think it's that bad, but you do have guys coming up through that can play second base as well. I mean, hell, Austin Barnes can play second base if need be. But there's guys in the minors that are good second basemen. Well, Gavin Lux is the name to remember for your shortstop second base, by the way. But I don't think you need him at shortstop. Second base is that spot for him. He will be up in the next couple of years. Seems like the Dodgers have talks with Nationals. You think they might get arms for their bullpen or a starter? I don't think they're going to get a starter. I mean, I know people are talking about Gio Gonzalez. He has not looked all that great. And you really do need another lefty in this lineup. You have enough. Kershaw, Wood, Hill, I think Ryu. Yeah, I mean, like you have plenty of lefties. You don't need another Gio Gonzalez. I think if you can get Kelvin Herrera, I think that'd be great. They just traded for him. Sean Doolittle's not going to be back for a little while, but he would be a great pickup too. They have really good arms, but I think they're going to want a lot for him. I don't think that anybody wants to do a lot for him. Adam Fife on YouTube. I love going over to YouTube and talking to you guys. Thoughts on trading for Chris Archer over relief pitching? No, absolutely not. We talked about this a little bit, so if you're already hearing this, I'm sorry for hearing it again. But Adam, I have no interest in Chris Archer. Tell me right now, Adam. Go ahead and write back to me, and you can write back to me on Instagram too. Give me one pitcher that you want Chris Archer over. You want Chris Archer over Clayton Kershaw? No. Do you want him over Rich Hill? No. Do you want him over Alex Wood, who pitched fantastic tonight, 1 hit? No. How about Kenta Maeda, 9 strikeouts basically in every game? Nope. How about Ross Stripling? No. Ross Stripling has been fantastic throughout the whole year. Nope. Walker Buehler. How about Walker Buehler? We don't even talk about Walker. By the way, happy birthday, Walker Buehler. We don't even talk about Walker Buehler. Do you want Chris Archer over Walker Buehler? I don't. So no. When Rue comes back, do you want him coming? Do you want him? No, I don't either. So there's no room for Chris Archer. I have no interest in Chris Archer. Let's stick to just if you want somebody in the bullpen, fine. But Urias is coming back. Wait, here you go. Sorry, J-Gab. Urias is coming back, and he will be going, and he's being built up as a reliever. So he's going to be coming back as a reliever for this year. And so don't expect him be doing anything else. So I'm not worried about the bullpen. I know a lot of people are, but there's really nothing. They were great. Look, they're on the verge of sweeping Atlanta. So all right. Yasiel Puig going to the Nets? No, I don't think so. I don't think Bryce Harper's that going to happen. I don't think they're going to move, but he is a movable contract. I don't think we do trade him. I think he is the wild horse. I'm wearing it. He hit a home run tonight. I think he has such tantalizing and interesting abilities that I don't think you do it. But I don't think it's not gonna happen. Adam's answering me. Thank you, Adam. I think if Kenta drops off towards the end of the year, I would prefer Archer over him. But at the moment, you're right. Okay, well, think about it. Look at go. I want you to go. Go to base. All you have to do in Google. I know you're looking at me on YouTube. Just open up another tab and type in Chris Archer stats. Go to the Baseball Reference, and then at the top you can go to 2018 game logs. Look at those game logs, or don't even go to the game logs. Just look at his stats for this year. He has an over 4 FIP, an over 4 ERA. His K per walk is down. His K per 9 is decent because he had that 13K start, but everything is bad. I have no interest in Chris Archer. He does not. There's nothing about him that is interesting to me. So no, I am saying a hard pass, hard no on Chris Archer. Can't wait to get back to Chavez Ravine. I'm going to be at Chavez Ravine on Wednesday next week with all the guys from Dodgers Nation, at Dodgers Nation. We're all going to be at the left field pavilion, I believe. So maybe I'm not supposed to let that out, but if you want to talk to us, we'll be at the Chavez on Wednesday of next week. Come say hello. Maybe I can buy you $1 a dollar hot dog. Maybe not. We'll see. Depends on how many you've come. All right, yikes, Rose. What are your thoughts on the Braves commenters saying that the Dodgers, are under embarrassment because of what they wore during batting practice, and they're saying that the Chase Utley's on track. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. That was Joe Thompson. I believe his name is Joe Thompson. I'm sorry if I got the name wrong. He's a Braves announcer. He's completely wrong. Even Craig Calcaterra on Facebook, who's an NBC, or not on Facebook, on Twitter, is an NBC guy. He was killing him, too, because Joe Thompson was in the Dodgers minor league system. He was with the Dodgers for a little while. That guy's that's garbage. That's all garbage talk. Forget that. Don't worry about it. What do I think about Jaron Kendall? I think Jaron Kendall is going to be very good. I think he's in the outfield right now. I think he's going to be good. He's also kind of blocked. I'm a big fan of Jaron Kendall. I think that he's another one of those guys that are going to be ready coming up in the next couple of years. You're not going to see him this year. I think he's going to be blocked by guys like DJ Peters, Alex Verdugo. There's other guys in that lineup that are in that minor league system that are all going to be. I don't have the top 30 in front of me, but I've gone over it plenty. Catcher, very strong at catcher. Shiro, that's a thumbs up to you too, but do you think it makes offense? I can't make it out there very often. I can't make it out there very often. I don't make it into the Oklahoma world too often, but I would love to. I try and look. On one of the podcasts that I did with Steve Mason, we actually talked to the manager, Bill Hasselman. We talked to him a couple of weeks ago, actually like a month or two ago. It was really good fun to talk to. So I got to learn a little bit. That was a AAA. But anyway, it was always it's fun talking. I don't make it out there, but I love reading about it. Who should the Dodgers get? I don't think they really need much. I think you're stacked offensively. I think you're stacked defensively. I don't think there's really there's a bullpen piece that is always helpful. Maybe a bullpen piece. Maybe one of those guys from Miami, Streckenrider, Bearclaw, Conley, Ziegler, one of those guys, or you're going to find somebody randomly from Tampa Bay or somebody from, if the Nats sell, I would love one of those guys like Kelvin Herrera from the Nats, but for the most part, I don't really need anybody. Do you think the Dodgers bring Todd Hollandsworth? Oh, what was that about Holly? Was it? Whoop, cancel. Todd Hollandsworth to the Dodgers organization as a broadcaster. I don't see why not. I mean, he's better than Nomar. I'm sure he's better than Nomar. Everybody is. But I really, really like Oral Hershiser. Joe Davis and Oral Hershiser, big fans. By the way, Joe Davis, if you're not following Joe Davis on Twitter, you're doing it all wrong. Because I can have a conversation about the Dodgers. I tweeted this the other day. I can have a conversation about the Dodgers and just read Joe Davis tweets, and I will keep up with you, and I'll sound like a legitimate Dodgers expert just from his tweets. It's insane. Love Joe Davis. Should Alex Verdugo be playing instead of Cody Bellinger? Oof. I think you got to keep going with Cody. I mean, I hate to say it. He's just lost, but I think you're going to let him go for a little while. I was for moving him down earlier in the year. I'm kind of for moving him down at the beginning, right around now, too. He's just not hitting the ball. But I think you don't see Alex Verdugo until September, and that's probably when you see him the most. Maybe I would. That's a good thought, though. I could really think about moving Bellinger down and bringing up Verdugo. It worked with Yasiel Puig. It worked with Jock Peterson. Maybe it'll work with Bellinger. I think he just has to have the idea that he's okay with it, because sometimes he can be a little weird in the head there. But I don't have that much problem. Trade Logan Frosty. I'm with you, George or Jorge. I'm with you. Do you see my? You know what? Hold on. Let's go back over here. Chris Patel, Chris Archer, 3-5 with a 4.31 ERA. That's what I'm saying. If you go look at his FIP. Go look at his K per walk. Go look at his 9. Go look at his per 9. The numbers are not good. He's giving up hits. He's giving up runs. There's nothing about Chris Archer. Let's move away from Chris Archer. The name doesn't work. All right, that's all. Sorry, I don't mean to get so angry about it. I'm not usually a very angry guy. But anyway, all right, I'm going to be able to do maybe 2 more questions. So I'm going to try and jump through these. I'm going to try and go real quick through these as fast as possible. Mostly here on Instagram. If you got it on YouTube, I'll see one too. I love Bellinger. Give him a break. Yeah, I love him too, Belly. But you know what? Sorry. Thoughts on Toles? I thought Toles looked really good as a Dodger, and I think he'll make his way back up too. I think he just didn't get a lot of sleep. Having some miscues in the outfield that it's not allowed, and you can't have that right now because of what's happening. So Verdugo is going to come up before him if anybody gets hurt, because Verdugo has been really good. Put Logan Forsythe down for Verdugo. You can't put Logan Forsythe down. He's not going to go anywhere until he's possibly traded, and if anything's going to happen, he'll be designated for assignment, DFA'd. That I would hope happens after the deadline, because right now it just doesn't make sense. Baez equals the poop emoji. I'm totally with you there. I was not a fan of Baez. You can look at anybody. You know, there's a guy at ESPN, Mike Trudell, who's the Lakers reporter. Every time Baez comes into a game, I get a text from him that just says in big letters, Baez, and that's it, because he knows my love and affection for Pedro Baez. It's just bananas, but nope, sorry. Bryce Harper, we're going through a little bit here, so Bryce Harper trade rumors from YRN Ricardo. I don't think there's anything to them. I think they're going to ask for too much. I think Manny Machado is better all-around player than Bryce Harper, and I think Bryce Harper is going to cost more because of where the Nats are and what's happening with him. So I just don't think it's going to happen, and I wouldn't give up much for him. But I would entertain it if it's for the right price. Absolutely. Give me those 25 home runs and 64 RBIs that he's got. All in. If the price is right. Forsythe comes through when needed. Come on, guys. You tell me. In that 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts and his 210 batting average with below 300 on base and below 300 slugging, that he's coming through when it matters. He was great. He was fine in the playoffs last year, but he's just been terrible. I have no interest in Logan Forsythe. I just don't trust him, especially with how good everybody else is. So no, why? Hey, got a new one on YouTube. Desmond, I can't say your last name. I apologize. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I can't read it, but Desmond. I have been thinking about this. How about telling the Halos we will give you Walker, Belly, Smith, Peterson, and they have to take Loogie for Trout and cash. They won't get more young talent than that. Here's the problem, and we talk about it a lot at ESPN, actually. This is a question of the Angels themselves, okay? Whoever trades Mike Trout is going to lose. You lose. It doesn't matter. I don't care who you're getting. Walker Buehler is fantastic. Bellinger is going to be fantastic. Will Smith is going to be really, really good catcher. Jock Peterson has found his swing and is just easy pitch and just not looking for that power, just trying to get on base. It's been really nice. Logan Forsythe's and he's losing money at the end of he's gone at the end of the year. That, in essence, is a fantastic trade for Mike Trout. It's not going to happen because nobody will ever trade Mike Trout. He is the biggest name in all of baseball. He will not be traded to the Dodgers. The Angels will never trade him. They will let him walk before they trade him. I guarantee you, because it's not going to happen. He's not going to be a Dodger. He's not going to be traded. I'm sorry, Desmond. I would love to see it too, but it's just not possible. Forsythe was good. Now he's trashed. He needs to go somewhere else. Mikey, I agree with you. He's terrible. Let's not give up Buehler so fast. I don't want to give up Buehler. I'm saying no to it. So let's just be fair about that because he is. That's a fake trade for Trout. The Angels won't do it. That's what I'm saying, Renee. I'm telling you, this was somebody that was asking about it, and I'm saying absolutely not because that's crazy. Let's see. Should the Dodgers pursue Max Scherzer? Okay. Max Scherzer is the best pitcher in all of baseball. I don't care about Chris Sale. I don't care about Justin Verlander. I don't care about Dallas Keuchel. I don't care about Trevor Bauer and how good he's been. I don't care about anybody that you want to throw out there. He's better than everybody on the Dodgers, hands down. That includes Kershaw. Max, you know how much that would take? It's just not going to happen. I would love to see Max Scherzer, and he's not really happy with Steven Strasburg. They're getting into fights. Bryce Harper's becoming a problem. I would love to see that. I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that there's any reason that the Nationals say, hey, Dodgers, we want to help you win the World Series after you knocked us out of the playoffs for the last 2 years. Sorry, not going to happen. Anyway, all right, just a couple more here, then I'm going to get out of here. Should the Dodgers pursue Max? Oh, that was the one I just read. So, no. I mean, yes, they should. They're not going to, and it's not going to happen. But Sock Monkey Mike, dominant win for the Dodgers. That's right, dominant win for the Dodgers. 6-2 Dodgers taking a 2-game lead. Does anybody, real fast, has anybody got the score of the Arizona game in San Diego? It was tied 4-4 in the 8th. Someone before I go, I would love to see an answer to that. So thank you for whoever is looking for that for me at the moment because I want to see a 2.5-game lead, not back down to that 1.5. While I'm waiting for your answers, and I know Krish Patel has always got my back here on YouTube, but I'm going to answer another question while I'm waiting. Alex D, do you think Machado will sign back in the offseason, and what will happen with Seager? Oh, man, 7-4 who? 7-4, Arizona. Oh, that's disappointing. That is a tough one. Oh, it's fine. Still going to run away with this division. I'm really not worried. I don't know what's going to happen with Manny Machado. I'd love to see him back. If he does come back, I think Seager is a guy that can move. I know he's 6'3", and he's too tall for second base, and he's too tall to play shortstop. But you can move people from third base. You can move Justin Turner to second base. You can put Seager at third. You can put Seager at second base. You can leave Turner at third. Manny Machado is a shortstop. He is the best player. He's one of the top 5 players in baseball. You do not move Manny Machado. All right, it looks like I only have 1:40 remaining on this broadcast. YouTube or Instagram only lets me do an hour, so I'm going to end it after these next 30 minutes. I'm going to try and just cycle through as fast as possible. Wish the Dodgers did sign and swap with JT for Manning. God, I mean, I would love to bring Manny back, but we'll see what happens at the end of the year. I want them to win now. Thank you, Krish, on YouTube. Top of the 8th. What's your starting 4 in the playoffs? It depends on what happens in September. But as of right now, if I really had to do it, it would probably be the guys that were there last year. It would be Kershaw, Hill, Wood, and I would probably go Maeda at that point right now. If it was right now, those would probably be my top 4, and you probably wouldn't see Maeda in the third. Maybe Hill gets moved down, Wood gets moved up. That's a little bit of movement, but that's probably my top 4 right now. They've been there, they've done that. That's what I want to see more stuff. All right, I got 45 seconds. Let Bellinger sit on the bench tomorrow. Yes, I agree, and hopefully Max Muncy is better and he can start tomorrow. They are facing a lefty, by the way, and he's a right-handed hitter. Should the Dodgers trade for Kelvin Herrera? If they can, yes, they should absolutely trade for Kelvin Herrera. He's a great pitcher, and although he's been bad, he has actually been pretty bad with the Nationals, but he was great. He was great with the Royals. Thank you, appreciate that. 25 seconds, I'm going to say goodbye. Not willing to give up, JT. All right, fantastic. You know what? I got 20 seconds, so follow me on Facebook. I'll answer all your questions at Bergman Greg. At Bergman Greg is the place to find me on Instagram, on Twitter. Follow me there, at Dodgers Nation. They're the best. At Bergman Greg. It's up there on the screen. And thank you guys very much. 6-2 Dodgers, 2-game lead right now. 4 seconds. All right, have a great night, guys. Happy Saturday.